Heartbreaker, like you said, you were right there in it. What was your message to the team afterwards?
Just that we're this close and keep their heads up, and it's going to turn. There's going to be something that happens. Fortunately, I've got some experience just with the being in a program like Michigan, where it was wasn't always you could just jump out to a great start. And you kind of had to find your identity as the season went along and figure some things out. And that's what this feels like. This feels like a team that we're still figuring things out, and we're still finding our identity and finding our way, so to speak. But nobody has lost belief, and that was another message to them. It's just to know that, we can. Something's going to happen on the field that's going to be a turning point to where, we're going to be on the positive side of these close games. But all these close games where they are the heartbreakers that we've fallen short in, those are the things that are callousing our minds and making us resilient, making us tough. And when the turning point does happen and we do get hot, it's going to be hard to stop us. So we just that belief that we know it's coming and we need to make it happen.
Is there a trend you're seeing as far as what's causing some of those kind of losses in close games, or does it just depend on the game?
Well, the heartbreakers are when the game's tied, or we have the lead after the seventh, and we've had quite a few of our losses now where it feels like that. There's only been a handful of losses where it just felt like we just flat out got beat. The Sunday game against South Carolina, the Georgia Tech Saturday game. Those are the two where it was it didn't feel like we just got beat, and everything else just feels like there's been a couple of things here or there. Even last night's game, it was a 5-3 game or 5-2, whatever it was. It was a close game until the pinch hitter came in and hit the 3-run homer in the eighth. So we felt like we were right in it, but all the games we've just been right there, and you could pinpoint. You could go, but this is what we do as coaches. This is what drives us nuts. Is because there isn't just the one thing. It wasn't just the leadoff hit by pitch in the ninth inning, and that's why the guy scored, and that's why we lost. It was you could go back and replay, so many things. Not tagging up on the sac fly. If we tag up at second, we get the third, and maybe that's another run score. There's just a lot of little things like that never show up in the stat book. It's not always the obvious, the homer or the walks and the hit by pitches, but those are the things we'll show on video, and those are the things we'll keep training and keep improving, and that's the only way I know how to do it, is just to get back in here tomorrow and have a classroom session and show them video and show them the things that we can improve upon, the things we did well, and just keep getting better.
Coach, you're 5 outs away from winning tonight. Similar situations against Duke and Georgia Tech. How much does it hurt not having a dominant closer in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Lindley's competing his butt off. He's been good in those spots, and the guys that are going in there, Nick Clayton's been in high leverage situations. Reed Garrett's been in high leverage situations. I mean, it'll be nice when Ammons comes back, of course, but those guys that they've done a really good job. And we're it's close, but this isn't Clemson hand grenades. It's Clemson baseball, so close doesn't count. It'll be nice when some guys, Casey Talent comes back, Brian Ammons comes back, Billy Barlow comes back. It'll be great when we're fully healthy on the mound, but nothing. You can't take anything away from the effort that those other guys, Lindley, Garris, Clayton, Weiss, those guys that are going into those big spots. They're competing hard.
You get a little surprised to see their closer almost throw over to first base when it was empty over there.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone in the park was screaming balk, but the umpire actually had it right. He stepped off, he didn't throw. If he would have thrown, then it would have been a balk because there's the base was unoccupied. But he didn't throw, and he stepped off, and it's no different than you can disengage from the rubber and step off. That's no big deal. But I think because he raised his arm, it caused everyone, myself included, to question it for a second because it just you didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, that was the right call. and there was no block there.
Were you expecting the squeeze play from them there in the sixth?
Yeah, we knew that's in their bag of tricks. They safety, and they sometimes safety with a drag bunt, which is a little unorthodox. Usually want to go to the first base side, but yeah, we've shown video of their bunters and their bunt plays, and so we were ready for it, and kind of expected it, so to speak. But you just got to collect outs there on wet field at that time of night. We've seen that too, where you don't collect outs on a bunt. Things go haywire. So, but we did fine. Fielding the bunt and doing that stuff. I mean, we were in a position to win and just didn't get that big hit late, and so everything's magnified that happens before that.
I know you felt really good about the roster going into the year. Do you feel like it's been a mixture of injuries and also just a young team kind of trying to figure out how to win games?
Yeah, I've never questioned the physical talent, and I still don't question the physical talent. I still think we have a physically talented team. I think we're just still finding our identity. We're still finding our way. We're still, making improvements that neck up stuff of how to slow the game down, of how to respond to adversity, of how to handle those big situations when, the game does start to speed up. And those are things we'll continue to work on because essentially those are, that's how you win championships. It's not necessarily because somebody's, just dominant physically. It's the team that can play the most consistent that usually is going to do the best, and that consistency has to, filters down from a strong mental game.
How much of finding an identity has been just arms coming in and out of the lineup, and I guess having these guys in so many different roles this year?
Yeah, that's been part of it. I mean, this struggle is very much going to define, this journey that we're on. It's going to be a big part of our story. If this ends up like we think it's going to end up, where we do get hot and we use all this adversity in the first half of the season to really strengthen us and build that resiliency and build that toughness, then yeah, all those pitchers that have all pitched in all different roles, as spot starters to, high leverage relievers to matchups to whatever. I mean, those are all experiences that are going to be extremely valuable for when any situation arises later in the season that we've been in. There's nothing that we will not have seen. We'll have seen, physical teams that hit home runs. We've seen fast teams. We've seen pitchers with, high 90s and plus stuff. I mean, there's just nothing we haven't seen. And because of the schedule we've played, this first half of the season, we've played a monster schedule. I mean, the ACC is always going to be tough, but there's a reason why our strength of schedule is in the top one or two or three, whatever it is. Yeah, we get the number 2 or 3 strength of schedule in the country. I mean, it feels like it, right? But it's all things. We've been taking our lumps, but it's going to make us better, But we, where we're going to be and where we are now, and bridging that gap, that's going to be where we find our identity to get there, and where we just keep as coaches, we keep plugging away, we keep teaching, we keep coaching, we keep helping our guys get better, we keep showing video, we keep doing classroom sessions, we keep staying on them and training, and just making the training sessions really intense, so that the game situations that they've been through it. We've been through enough of it in these first 28 games that, eventually it just becomes a muscle memory for them. And we're playing a tight game. Oh, game's on the line, no big deal. We've been here 28 times because that's how it feels.
Speaking of that, how was it that, or how did you feel seeing Nick go out there and just be as dominant as he was and not control the game the way he did?
It was awesome. I mean, his role that's a perfect example of a pitcher that could pitch in literally any role. He could be a starter, he could be a long reliever, he could be a short reliever, he could be a high leverage reliever, and he could be a closer. There's nothing that he can't do, and he's been in all of those situations this year so far. So, he's got incredible metrics in the movement of his fastball, and he's very good. And so he's super valuable moving forward, and we'll utilize him as best we can. But he's been awesome.
The decision to pinch Becerra for Lackey, he was 1 for 9 coming in. What was behind that decision as opposed to somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, just hoping to get a fastball and, thinking about, tying the game or taking the lead with one swing. And, he's trying to give some guys that maybe haven't had the opportunity, some opportunities too, like just Leighton Lackey in the game. We've seen some guys that have had 30, 40, 50 at-bats and kind of have a good feel for what they can do. And, maybe we're, as coaches, we're talking about, is there someone else that we can give a few ABs to, give some opportunities to, see if they can, be the spark and create some ignition that gets us, to get hot and start to go on a run here. But, just go all the way back to Zane Green, 2002, and what a spark he was. Not that that team needed it. That team had plenty of firepower, but he was a huge spark. He ended up hitting 7 home runs in the postseason, and he didn't even travel for ACC play as a freshman. And all of a sudden, he's the postseason hero and hitting in the leadoff spot and ahead of Khalil Green. There's Zane Green, and he was awesome. But you never know. You never know who that guy could be. It could be a guy who has 0 at bats right now, and he's going to be one of the big keys that turns this whole thing around and is great in our lineup, and we don't even know it yet. So it's really just we're not going to hold guys back and hold anything back. There's been plenty of guys who've said, hey, I'm not here to redshirt, and if I can get even just a couple of at bats or innings, I want to do it.
I'm sorry if you've addressed this recently, but with Talent and Barlow and Evans, do you have an ETA on when those guys will be back?
Close. It's just it's I think Ammons we're optimistic for Florida State, and the other two I think right behind that, maybe Notre Dame. So everybody's just within a week or two away.
And then with the schedule y'all have played, RPI is still in pretty good shape. Do you feel like y'all have a chance to get hot and really go on a run here in the second half?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I 100% believe that with every fiber in my body that we are going to get hot and go on a run, no doubt.
Coach Caden took a pitch off his non-throwing arm. I'm guessing he'll be okay to pitch tomorrow, though.
As long as he doesn't try to pitch right-handed.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.